It's a story about a young girl from Bahrain. She's just a normal girl. A girl who we could all know. Who could live anywhere in the world. She could be from right here in Kuwait, all the way from the USA. And it's a true story. So, one day this girl, she meets a boy. He's cute, he's sweet, he's charming, and he liked her. He made her feel special. He made her feel excited. He made her feel love. We all know what it feels like to be in love, especially young love, with the butterflies in your stomach, when you're consumed. As time goes by, the boy and the girl, they really start to fall for each other. They start spending every day together. They talked on the phone all night long, sending hundreds and hundreds of WhatsApp messages. They went to the malls, they went to the movies. They started to plan their future. And then, finally, it happens. Will you marry me? Yes, yes, of course. Of course I'll marry you. She was over the roof. She loved him so, and he loved her. She began dreaming of her dress, her future, her home, her children, her own fairy tale. She told her family and friends how she loves him, how she's the luckiest girl in the whole world. Her mother had a few concerns because she thinks that sometimes the boy is a little bit over the top, what with all the calls and messages. But in the end, they gave their blessing because they know his parents. The families discussed everything in detail. They worked it all out. After all, the boy went to a good university. He has a very bright future in front of him. She was sure it would all work out. They have known the family for a very long time. The girl and the boy, they got engaged, and now the wedding was coming. The girl was consumed with planning all the details. She was shopping for flowers and dresses, trying out hairdos and nail colors. It was such a happy time, such a fun time. But now, only every now and then, her fiancé starts to get angry with her. He shouted at her, call her a name, but she knew it was just because he was stressed out. After they're married, she reasoned everything would be okay. After all, they're in love. The wedding comes and goes. The ladies' party was a beautiful affair. She and all her cousins, her aunties, her best friends danced and sang long into the night, celebrated the wonderful life and family to come. Everything was perfect. Her wedding set of diamond and rubies was gorgeous. There was hundreds of red and pink roses, flickering candles in the ballroom with long, white, flowing curtains. All of her friends were envious, you see, because she was the first of her class to get married. But after the wedding, sadly, her husband was not getting more relaxed, but even a little more volatile. She sometimes felt nervous now. She was worried how he might react if she made a mistake. She was a little uneasy, but she was quiet. After all, the whole world just watched and wished them well in her beautiful dress, smiling and basking in her own personal fairy tale. A few months go by, and it actually was getting worse and worse. One day he pushed her, but right away he said, I'm sorry, I promise I'll never do it again. She reasoned with herself. She trusted him. She thought, once we have a family, everything will be okay. And happily, she just found out she was expecting. During her pregnancy, though, she was a little bit sick. She couldn't satisfy him like she used to. He started calling her names. He pushed her down. Once, he pushed her down in the bedroom. But again, she kept quiet and thought, once the baby comes, once he's a father, everything will be okay. Then in the springtime, the air was fresh, the pink bougainvillea was blooming. The baby came, little baby Lulu. She was perfect with 10 toes and 10 fingers. But contrary to everything she had hoped, things became so much more stressful. They had less leisure time, they had less money, and God knows they had less sleep. Things were very stressful. They were getting so much harder than she could have ever imagined. His abuse became a regular thing. But now, without him, how would she support beautiful baby Lulu? She was a full-time mother and only 20 years old. Each day she navigated his temper. She watched his body language. She prayed to God to keep her safe. But the beatings continued. The humiliation continued. The fear continued until one day he exploded. He beat her to the ground. She was in so much pain. He saw this and he stopped. He helped to pick her back up. And again, he apologized. I will never do it again. I'm sorry. I know what I did was wrong. I love you, Habibti. Still, she was in a great deal of pain. So he took her to the hospital emergency room. He waited in the lobby while she went to see the nurse. The girl thought, here. Somebody will help me here for sure. The nurse came in and said, what happened? But at that moment, she hesitated. She got nervous. I had an accident, she said. The nurse smiled and said, you should be more careful, but don't worry. We'll fix you right up. Please wait here. The doctor will be in soon. So she was left alone. Finally, 30 minutes later, the doctor comes in. He sends her to x-rays, then gave her a prescription. The doctor said thank you, again, left her alone. The hospital registration staff, they came in, took her to the cashier. They paid, and then there she was, back with him. They left together. The girl went home, silent, but scared. Nobody told her it wasn't her fault. Nobody told her that she shouldn't have to endure this. Nobody even noticed that she was suffering. Now, you see, she got home, and for a while, everything was fine. He was sweet. He got her flowers. He took her to the movies. Together, their little family was actually okay. It was a happy time. But it was also a short time. It was only a few months later that it happened all over again. His temper was coming. He started shouting and calling her names. He would push her and slap her. Every day she was terrified. She covered her bruises. She covered her tears. She wore sunglasses and a smile to convince the world that her marriage was a beautiful marriage. But underneath it all, it was not the fairy tale she dreamed of past. It was actually a living nightmare. Finally, one day, it happened. He beat her worse than ever before. He was like a monster unleashed. You see, he came home early from work. The house wasn't clean. The dinner wasn't ready. His food was late. The ambulance came. But the ambulance was also late. Too late. It was a severe brain hemorrhage. She died along the way. She didn't even make it to the hospital. Now the story is finished because the girl, our mother, our sister, our daughter, our friend, has died. But she didn't have to die. If only someone would have been there to help her. But we missed our chance. Nobody saw it. Nobody knew it. Nobody helped her. And that's why we have invited you all here tonight to try to help this girl, to help all girls, to save their lives from the ever-present reality of domestic and sexual violence. My name is Mary-Justine Todd. I'm the founder and director of the first rape and domestic violence crisis center in the entire Arabian Gulf region. And I've come here to Kuwait to continue the efforts set forth by the amazing women of Abolish 153 in their journey to support the women of Kuwait. You see, because domestic and sexual violence is not just a myth. It's not just something that happens to somebody else. It can happen to all of us, to the women we love. According to the World Health Organization, 1 in 3 women around the world will experience either domestic or sexual violence at some point in their lives. I certainly won't ask you to raise your hand, but we are approximately 50 women here tonight. That means 5 or 6 of us will experience this at some point in our life, or maybe already have. Maybe there was or will be help available and she'll be able to recover. Or maybe there won't be, and just like too many women before us, you'd have to suffer alone. I'm an American, so let me give you a little bit of information about my country. In the United States, between 2001 and 2011, approximately 6,000 US soldiers died in the war in Iraq and Afghanistan. The American public was outraged. During the exact same time period, approximately 14,000 women were killed by their partner. But I ask you, where is the outrage? In America, in Kuwait, it doesn't matter. Many women suffer, and most suffer in silence. But why? Because it's humiliating. Because it's private. Because it's sad. And it's very easy to still love the man who is hurting you. He's probably not a monster 24 hours a day. In fact, he may still be very, very nice sometimes. It's a well-established cycle of abuse. It begins with the honeymoon phase. Flowers, romance, love. Quickly, it turns to the tension building. Little fights, name-calling, feeling like you're always walking on eggshells. Then the explosion. He hits her, kicks her, slaps her, throws her to the ground. This is when she might come into contact with the authorities, the police, an NGO, the hospital. This is our chance to reach her. Then it goes quickly to the reconciliation phase. I'm so sorry, I'll never do it again. Forgive me. And we are human. We are hopeful by nature. And you see, it's tricky. Because the cycle, at first, it may take 1 full year to complete. So it's not that easy to identify. But every time the cycle completes, the lifespan of the cycle is shorter and shorter and shorter. Before you know it, it's every month, every week, every day. But the thing is, if somebody would have been in this girl's life who knew how to recognize the signs and the symptoms of violence, if they knew how to respond without alienating her, scaring her, or putting her in further danger, maybe things could have been better for her. And that's the thing. We can make it better. There are ways to reduce the suffering. Perhaps we can't stop all of the violence, but we can hold the hands of the victims. We can tell them it wasn't their fault. We can tell them it's going to be okay. Give them a little bit of hope, of information for the future. And that is what we want to promote here today. The idea that you two, each and every one of you, can affect positive change over this terrible problem. Even without formal systems in place, you as friends, families, just concerned community members, you can play a big part. Knowing what violence against women looks like is the first step. And there are some telltale signs. A woman may appear anxious, have unexplained injuries. She may not be allowed to go out with family and friends. She may seem to become increasingly isolated. That's where you come in. You can be her advocate. You can help her to know that she deserves to be treated with dignity and respect, and for her to know that there are options out there. You can show her kindness, support, and empathy. And most importantly, you can believe her story. You may be the only person who believes her story, and you may be the only person to tell her that it was not her fault. Public health research has found that immediate support and kindness following a violent incident is actually the most effective way to promote recovery after a violent incident like domestic violence or rape. And that's what you can do. If you become aware of a problem, whether you hear about it or you see it, intervene. Be there to hold her hand, listen, and just be. You actually don't have to do very much. Just being there is a big part of the healing process. You can act as a cushion between all of the people around her that may want something. Family and friends pressuring her to do something. Maybe the police want to interview and investigate. The hospital, the doctors and the nurses, they want to take her blood. Maybe they want to do an intimate physical exam. You can be there to soften that blow. You can also act as a bridge to help ensure that she has all of the information for the future that she might need. Maybe she needs counseling. Help her to find a long-term therapist. Maybe she needs help with housing or food. Try to see that she knows how to take care of herself and her children by accessing publicly available resources and or just help her brainstorm on what resources she might actually already have in her life, her family, and her community. However, one of the most important and hardest things to do when you want to help a victim of abuse is resist the temptation to give advice. Why? Because we don't listen to advice. Nobody listens to advice. And when you give her advice, two things happen. One, she probably won't do it, and then she'll be made to feel like yet again she's a disappointment. Now she has let you down. But two, what happens during a violent incident is the abuser takes away her power. Takes away her physical power, her emotional power, even small powers over daily decision making. So if we attempt to give her advice, will further taking away her power. We need to empower her by promoting her decision-making capabilities. We, as her supporters, should seek to give her back that power. Trauma-informed research has shown us that when a person goes through a trauma, something very specific happens in their brain. Their frontal cortex starts beeping. The amygdala in the brain is like a smoke detector. When it detects a threat, beep, 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 beep. It's going crazy. There's danger. And after the violent incident has ended, sometimes the woman can't get the beeping to shut off. That's where the kindness, the support, and the empathy comes in to help her shut off that beeping so she can resume normal life and start to take care of herself and her family again. Thus, your role as a community member, friend, or family is to compassionately help her shut it off. And interestingly, The experience that the woman has after the crisis is, in and of itself, the determining factor of how well she will recover. It's not actually the incident itself. You see, when a man rapes or a husband beats, the woman associates all that pain and suffering with only one person, with that man. But when she goes to the hospital or to family and friends, and they don't respond with sensitivity to her special needs as a victim of violence, she can misinterpret the words and actions of those around her. The friends, the doctors, and neighbors, they may not actually know what's going on. I mean, they have lives, jobs, and families too. Or worse yet, and very often, people will blame her. Yani, why did you provoke him? Go home and take care of your family. When either of these things happen, though, when she's ignored or blamed, she starts to then associate the feelings of suffering with everybody around her, creating catastrophic feelings of mistrust, preventing her from healing and recovering. But it can be prevented if somebody was there to support her, and that is what you can do. There are many ways to be involved. You can act as an informal advocate. You can support Abolish 153. You can talk about it. Don't stay silent. Stand up, speak up. We may not be able to stop all of the violence today or tomorrow, but we can hold the hands of the victims and tell her it wasn't her fault. And inshallah, we will be able to put an end to all domestic and sexual violence around the world. Thank you. And now I would like to introduce Dr. Anud, one of the masterminds behind Abolish and this event. She will join to tell us a bit more about Abolish and their work in Kuwait.
Hello, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, young people who are here. You're also wonderful, giving up your Friday night. I'm sure we're all excited to see what these young people have prepared for us. So we're not going to spend too much time talking about what Abolish is, because you're here and you can find that out very easily. It's an article in the penal law in Kuwait that we're desperately trying to remove. So Abolish is a very difficult law for us to deal with and talk about because it's to do with honor. And in this society, people don't really like to talk about the things that can affect their honor. As members of this society, you understand this better than I can explain. It's embarrassing to talk about private subjects, especially when they affect a family. So what we're trying to do is to open up a conversation about domestic violence, and we're trying to open up a conversation about the Constitution and the laws it gives to women. So in the Constitution, we can't have laws that one sex can apply on the other. All laws have to be applied irrespective of your gender. So this is the main driver behind Abolish. We want to keep our women safe in Kuwait, especially because right now we don't have shelters for domestic abuse victims. We don't have hotlines that they can come to, and we don't have really a lot of resources for them. So we're hoping to raise awareness and to get young people involved and to really get some momentum behind both abolishing this law and getting shelters in Kuwait. You've heard all the statistics. Sometimes it takes 7 tries to get out of a domestic abuse relationship, and it's even more complicated in places like Kuwait because families are involved and families don't want the unit to split up. Our problem here is that very few people know that Article 153 exists, and even more people can't believe it. They say, no, this can't be a Kuwaiti problem. Honor killings aren't a problem in Kuwait. When we try to say that there's statistics to show that, it's not important. Because when people do things in the name of honor, they're not going to tell you we did this in the name of honor. So what we need to do is to raise awareness, because most people in Kuwait are shocked to know that this law exists. They're shocked to know that there are no shelters and no helplines. And essentially, people are good, they are helpful. We just need to raise this awareness. Just by you being here, just by you helping us, just by you spreading the word about what we're trying to do, You're supporting our cause, and we are very, very grateful that you are here. Now, I think we're ready to see what the young people have prepared for us. And thank you very much to Mary-Justine and Georgie Broadley for preparing this. This little skit is called This Could Happen to You.
We're in Kuwait. It's 2017. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon on an average warm weekday in April. Aziz has finished his work. He's just left the central bank and is on his way to the barber, Hamza, in Dahia. His shop is simple, small, and Aziz is the only customer.
Assalamu alaikum. How are you?
Alaikum salam. How are you? It's
Fine,
been a while.
Yeah, life is being busy, man. Everything is going on at the moment. But hey, everything is positive. Nothing to complain about. But how about you? Are you doing great? How was your business, your family? Everything good?
Yeah, everything's fine. Nothing new. Same old, same old.
Great to hear that. That's all you need to be happy, right? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've noticed there's a barbershop up the corner. What's going on there? When did that happen?
Yeah, I don't know. Some franchise or something. One of my friends, he's working there, but I don't know. Oh, whatever.
Oh yeah, so did you watch the last night match? Arsenal versus Liverpool. Oh my god. Like, yani, the goal, like when, like the player, like he just go like this and hit it. Oh my god, it's killed me. Did you see it?
No, I didn't watch it.
Oh, you were busy?
Yeah, working.
Yeah, tell me, what team do you support?
I don't know.
Come on, man. Arsenal to the top. They always kill it, man. Okay, so if you're free anytime, like we can go watch a football match. If you want, if you're free.
Yeah, sure, maybe.
Absolutely, that's good, man.
So, what can I do for you today?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I almost forgot about that. So, first
Let
of
me
all,
take your jacket.
oh yeah, sorry. So, I'd like the usual, like keep it up clean and clean it up here, just a little bit here and here. Also, I want to cut just a little bit here and cut a little bit from the back and from the top. Thank you. So, I have noticed that you have been here for a while. Aren't you going to go back to your homeland, Lebanon, and see your family anytime soon?
Yeah, I really hope so, but, it's a little bit difficult trying to save money, put food on the table.
Well, why don't you try something new and different? You can, start any job and, you can find any solution for your, problem. What's your dream? What's your passion, man?
No, my friend. Dreams are not true.
What? No. Dreams are for everybody, man. Maybe you can go back to school and, get your business degree at work. And, one day you will open your barber shop one day and you're gonna be the boss, just like me.
Yeah.
Okay, listen, look. It is really possible to get that degree at work. Just go back to school, My wife also always talk about it. She told me she want to go back to school. She wants to she keep talking between me and her. And have you thought going to KU? Because I want to help you here. Anything you want, I'm trying to help you here. I want to give back. If you want, man, I can do that. I've been very blessed in my life, and I want to share it right now.
Allah Kareem.
So, yeah, if you want to just take it, I will just give it to you, And also, if you want to go back to your family in Lebanon and, you want to visit it in upcoming Eid, that will be my gift to you, You like it? I can give you my card if you want. Is that a good deal?
Yeah, I really appreciate your offer, but I'll have to think about it.
Okay, absolutely. But listen, I have another planning. We can plan this. I can come here for a haircut every week. And I will pay your fees, like for your first year in business college. I will pay your fees. That sounds good, right?
Yeah. Thank
Okay.
you for being generous.
You're very welcome, man. Let me give you my card. Here's my card. Thank you so much.
Oh, man. That looks really good. I really like that.
You're really good at this. That's why I came here. I never go to anyone else. Like, they told me that there's a lot of barbershops are the best, but I never go anywhere except for here because you are the most talented person. And listen, man, anything you want, I'll be here for you. Okay? I will talk to you later. Now I have to go. Have a great day. See ya.
Scene. Aziz finishes his haircut and shave. He heads to his wife, Hassa, in Shweikh, where she is anxiously waiting for him. In their fancy dining room, with crystal chandeliers and silk curtains. The children are out with the nanny in Shahid Park. She's making sure that everything is perfect for him. She has prepared his favorite dish, chicken majboos with daqus, and some fresh orange juice.
Hi, Aziz. Hi, how are you? Hi, let me take your jacket. Thank you. How was your day? Was it good? Who did you see? What did you do? It was really hot. It was really hot today, wasn't it? But I guess it was okay for you because you were inside, not outside, so you weren't hot, right? Because you were inside. Right? Did you take the food that I prepared for you? I saw that you did because it's not in the fridge anymore, so you must have taken it. Did you enjoy it? Did you like the tahini sauce that I left with you? It was a little pot next to the food. You must have liked it because you took it. Anyway, Aziz, you were a bit late today. What happened? Did you have meetings? Did you see anybody? What did you do? You look good though. You look good. Did you go to the barber shop?
Oh, yes, I went to the barbershop. So what?
Oh, no, I'm just asking. I'm just asking because you look fresh and you look clean.
I came here, and the first thing you do is, yup. Khalas ya mara. Finish it. Shut it down. Like, I came here, and I'm hungry. I'm starving, and you didn't prepare the food. I didn't see it in front of me.
It's here. Come sit.
God.
Aziz, I was just asking. I just wanted to know how your day was. How was it? What happened?
You don't have to know. It doesn't concern you. All you have to know is, your husband is hungry, and he wants lunch right now. That's it.
Just asking.
That's it.
What happened at work today? What happened?
Nothing happened.
I made your favorite juice, orange juice.
Oh, great.
Sorry. How is it?
Fine.
Eat.
With water in it?
You sure nothing's wrong? It's okay?
There's nothing wrong.
Aziz, I wanted to ask you a question.
What?
My friends and I, we really want to go on holiday together to India to see the Taj Mahal because it's really beautiful, it's really colourful and really historical. And then my friends from the Tuesday lunch group that I go with, remember, it's only for 5 days, no more, no less. And I'll have everything prepared, everything ready. You won't go hungry, I promise, Aziz.
Wait, where's the mahbouj?
Sorry, what?
I don't see the mahbouj.
Oh my God, I made it. I swear I made it. 1 second.
Sit! You know, I work every day, all day long, for someone who doesn't concern and doesn't pay attention to me. Like last night, you didn't wake me up for work on time. Last week, you didn't pick up my dry cleaning. And somewhere, in some place you put that I don't know. And all day, you go to Salem, to your friends, and sit doing nothing. Well, for me, your husband, he needs the dinner, the lunch, the mahboush on the table on time. Is that so much to ask? Oh, don't! Oh, you don't! I didn't tell you to pick it up!
Scene. On his way home from work, Hamza the barber picks up a single carnation to take to his wife Maryam. He lives in Jalib al-Shuyukh. Their apartment is small, basic, and has few windows. It's humble, but it's comfortable. Maryam is happily sat reading a book.
Maryam.
Hi, Habibi, you're home.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I missed you.
You okay?
Great.
How was your day?
Now look what I got you.
You didn't have to. So I went to the store to just get a few groceries. I made you fata, your favorite. You want some? Come, sit, have some. Please.
Honey, sit down. I've been in your feet all day.
Oh, it's so nice. Feels so good. Thank you. So tell me about your day. How were you?
Yeah, it was okay. Nothing new, you know. Same old, same old. Well, actually, no. There was this customer. He's really good. Like, he has this positive energy. He treats people well. He always puts people first. He really treats me really good, you know. But I don't know. I have this feeling that maybe I gave him the wrong impression. I treated him in a bad way, you know. I was a little bit rude.
No. No, honey, I'm sure it's fine. If he's really a nice man, like you say, he'll understand. He'll know that you appreciate it, even if you show it in your own way. Usually, one good man can recognize another. Come, sit. Have some dinner.
No, honey, let me. So, how was your day?
Well, actually, so after I went to the grocery store, I stopped by Noor's house. I just stopped for some chai and we got to chatting a little bit. We were talking about, remember what you and I discussed last week? You know, I'm still really thinking, I really would like to maybe try to go back to school to study. You know, it's always been difficult. And I've always wanted to do it. I'm just worried because of time and money, and we're always sending our money back home to Lebanon, and I'm just worried. Maybe, do you think, maybe it's not the right time?
You know, honey, I know you've been trying to talk about this for a long time. And God knows that my only concern is to make you happy. And, you know, I've been trying. I know it's a little bit difficult, but things are getting better at the shop. And, you know, I have more customers now. And trust me, I don't want you to end up like your mother. Yeah, you know, her situation, she didn't have the opportunity to finish her studies. And I don't want you to regret ever marrying me, but I'm trying. I'll tell you what, I have good news. This customer that I told you about, today he told me that he's willing to pay all the fees whenever I decide to get back to my studies.
That's amazing. Wow. That's wonderful.
You know what's more amazing? Now it's for you.
I know you always do everything you can to make it work. I will think about it some more. Inshallah, maybe by next week we can decide. But think. Let me give you some more rice.
Scene. Despite appearances, Hamza is the ideal husband, loving, supportive, and humble, while Aziz is a classic abuser. On the outside, he's charming and kind, but on the inside, he's dark and distant.
I pass by your obscured, damaged loveliness and wonder why you are hiding, downcast. Faint traces of bruises mar your haggard visage. What has he done to you? You remain broken, ashamed, and abandoned while man has moved on to abuse other watery bodies. For years you've suffered slights, insults, and mockery. You've been downgraded, your spirit pushed deeper into the toxic muck. Your bright, joyous bounce has been battered into a slow-lapping sludge. You became stagnant, no sparkle across your surface, no glide in your movement, shut down, shut in, shut off, and shut out. Heavy metals weighed you down and trampled your exuberance. Man first hid you away to keep you for himself. Later, you hid yourself, a horrid, scared, poisoned, shocked, and used-up body until the destruction ended. Just lately, you've been peeking out from behind those reedy curtains. Your liquid skin is clearing, the scars are fading, and a slight playfulness sprints across your white, caped waves. Thank you. And now I'd like to introduce Georgie Bradley performing a tired mother's lament.
So, it was just like any normal day. My alarm went off at 5:45 in the morning, and by alarm, I mean my 3 under 5-year-old children, my Energizer bunny children, catapulted on top of me like I was a trampoline, right? I am not an early bird, nor am I a night owl, but I'm some sort of permanently exhausted pigeon. Mothers unite. Tell me about this, yes? I mean, talk about a rude awakening, huh? Yeah, all right. So it was the usual scramble to get the kids out the front door, which, believe me, is a death-dodging exercise, right? I'm having to navigate Batmobiles, do-it-yourself necklace beads, furry motorized playthings. It's ridiculous. And even when we are out the front door and in the car, my youngest, he's still not ready because he doesn't have his shoes on. Where are your shoes? We're late. I don't know where my shoes are. Where did you see them last? On my feet? Go back inside and find your shoes. We're late. Anyway, once I dropped them off at school, right, I did the usual errands. I went to the supermarket for the weekly grocery shop, which, by the way, is it ever weekly? It's daily. I should get weekly, not even weekly, daily discount from the supermarket because our full to the brim fridge is never quite full enough. The short order demands never stop. My children, my darling children, yes. They want variety, they want options, they will never accept regular cut fries. No, they want the ones with the smiley faces on them. Do you know what those are? The smiley faces, right? And if they don't get the smiley face ones, this is what they give me. Yeah, try working with that. I mean, you know what? It all comes together and it's all worthwhile when I get the macaroni necklace for my birthday. Yeah. I love my children so much, really I do. They're the best things in the world. And I would walk on hot charcoal for them, which incidentally I did 2 weeks ago when we had a family barbecue, and they thought it would be really funny if they took the prongs off the barbecue and started throwing the charcoal around. Yeah. Mummy was super sweet that day. Anyway, I digress. After the supermarket, I went to the bank, and then I went to the dry cleaners, and then I had 2 uninterrupted hours, blissful hours, to do some shopping for myself, right? Because my husband and I, we had a dinner party to go to that week, which, you know, dinner party is like a play date for adults, which is great. But the thing is, my wardrobe consists of 2 things at the moment. Don't look at me now, I'm kind of fancy tonight. But it consists of deeply jam-stained t-shirts. Todd gave up on me at baby number 2. And mum jeans that are so out-mummed, they've entered a new category of sad. So I went to the mall, right? It was a Sunday morning, so it was low-level activity, which was great for me, you know. And I went to a couple of shops. It was great, but I didn't really find anything. So on my way out, I was kind of despondent, thinking, okay, whatever. And then I saw a mannequin wearing an outfit that I quite liked near the exit of the mall, and I go inside. And just as I go inside, this crescendo of noise comes in through the entrance, and I peer out to see what it was. And it was a small army of children, not mine, thank you very much, they were in school, with their parents and the housemaid, right? It really reminded me of my own family, but I sort of got a kick out of it and I indulged it. I thought, not me today, not today, Satan. Yeah. And the mother and I, we shared a mutual glance together. You know that look that mothers give each other, like. But anyway, I continued going through the clothes, and nothing was really working for me. But I just kept looking back and forth. They actually went and sat at a bench behind this sort of fake palm tree, you know, underneath the escalator, just outside the shop. And I kept looking and looking. And the mother and the children, they got up and left at one point. And the husband and the housemaid remained. It looked a little bit strange. But, you know, I carried on. I didn't want to look like I was interfering or prying. And the housemaid was sat about half a meter away from the husband. And he had a very aggressive body language to himself. And she was huddled up together like this, crouched over. And he kept muttering things to her. Suspiciously, you know, evil, weird things. And she was gathered up together. And out of nowhere, I swear to God, he went closer to her and he cupped his hand underneath her. And at this point, I was just still. But I didn't really do anything. I just sort of moved forward in the shop and pretended to go through other clothes racks. I was still watching, didn't do anything except watch. I wasn't paying attention to the clothes at this point. And then, I swear to God, I almost screamed. He took his hand and he went down her cheek like this, and then along her jaw, and then down her throat. And it was seductive, but it was disgusting. She was weightless and bony and said, "Stop, stop, stop." And a few people passed, but they didn't do anything. And I know they saw what I saw, and I'm thinking, people, do something, do something. Look, can you see what I see? They didn't do anything. I didn't do anything. I was paralyzed. You know when you get a stroke, your face, it doesn't move, but on the inside, you're burning with rage. You want to do something, but you can't do anything. You don't want to interfere. And then he took her hand and put it down by her side because she was trying to fight him. And just as he was caressing her hips, he changed immediately. He stood up straight. He widened his arms. His children came back. He was like one big cuddly bear all of a sudden. His wife smiled from ear to ear. The housemaid, she just turned to the side and wiped her small tear from the corner of her eye. And that was it. And then they just merrily went along. All of them, with the housemaid just dragging behind them with their shopping bags. And I stepped out of the store and I just watched them go down and fade into obscurity, and I thought, that's it. What just happened? What just happened? I just saw that and nothing happened. I saw it, other people saw it. And the days after, I just played it over and over and over in my head, and I thought, no matter how jaded I am with life, no matter how tired I am, no matter how much my kids drive me crazy, I'm gonna do something next time. Because as much noise as my children make, the noise in my head after what I saw doesn't compare. Because it's actually, I thought it's easy. All I have to do next time is to just go up to them and say, what are you doing? What is this? You think this is okay? Who do you think you are? I vow that next time I will never ever let a woman like that suffer like that. Thank you. So, our next act, we have a homegrown Kuwaiti poet. Her name is Nada Faris, and she's going to be performing. 1 second. So much happens in our bodies. Woo!
Because I'm a woman, I am told to stand behind the yellow line, where they will pull out my vocal cords and lock them in a trunk. Don't speak, they warn, for my voice is the honor shorn from men's backs to be kept at arm's length. But a voice is a remarkable weapon to wield against oppression. So, because I am a poet, I will stand in front of everyone and demand that my poems be fired from a cannon into the heart of patriarchy itself. And let's raise the volume of this rebellion till we repossess our roles and the narratives of our homelands. Don't tell us to kneel inside men's houses, to remain isolated so they can roam as bosses, but tell them to be valiant. Teach them how to part the sea as an entrance, how to pledge themselves for our defense, for if the female voice is an honor, let them ask themselves what it means to toss a woman's choice in the darkest corner of a bedroom, to be trampled upon with filthy toenails, or tied to a collar, tethered to an inferiority complex. Remember that gender ebbs and flows like the gulf that built our culture, harboring the richest jewels in the fathoms of its depths, and that courage is not embarking orders atop the vessel that carries boys and men, but it's diving into the waters and holding one's breath for the prospect of catching a gem. You'll find courage at the bottom of the sea, and strength at the edge of the vessel where a sahib wrapped in a thick rope tied to the diver's waist would wait for a whole day. Courage is patience and passion in facing inevitable and natural monsters in the ocean. So because I am a woman and a poet, I drew the metaphor of my history with my vocal tears and plead, if not similitude, then at least equality for roles and opportunities, not only for men and women, but for everyone. Because we are human, trudging with uncertainty, crawling in agony, fighting battles only visible to ourselves. And we, I assure you, cannot handle a system built upon the perpetual exploitation of people based on dangerous interpretations of the words of God. And we try so hard to reconcile our own maddening existence with our unconscious thoughts, but we can't, because we are not what we think. Our memories themselves are distinct from our will, inhibiting a life force of their own. So much happens in our bodies. It's like a circus, feeling somersaults and reason splits. We are so many little selves in a bird's nest, each wanting to hatch and learning to fly on its own. So let us dismantle this patriarchal structure of power at once, because we are human, flawed, lonely, hurt, each carrying a gash of guilt and regret to swallow the universe whole. Our silent tears fall in spates from haleless heads. So please, be kind to one another. We all trudge with uncertainty, crawling in agony, fighting battles only visible to ourselves. Thank you.
That was really stirring, right? What a good message. Yeah, she's like a force to be reckoned with, right? So thank you so much. Thank you so much for watching our collective performances. It's been such a labor of love for us to be here, especially for MJ and I from Bahrain, from little tiny Bahrain, to be here in Kuwait. We've been so moved and so inspired by the movers and shakers of Abolish 153. It's been really a real learning lesson for us. So we want to give our profuse thanks to Dr. Ahmed, Nawar and Sharoop, because they have been instrumental in putting this project together in the last 5 days, and it's just been such a great journey, so exciting and so much fun, and we hope that we can collaborate in the future to make great things happen, because it's been such a great learning experience. So thank you so much.
Coming here and giving the drama workshop.
Thank you.
And explaining a lot about gender-based violence. So this is from the Abolish 153 team.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank you.
Before we go for refreshments, what we want to do, we want to show you a clip. I'm not going to tell you what the clip is about, but what I will say is that For all the hate and hurt that there is in the world, we hope that this clip restores your faith in all the good that still exists. So have a watch of it, it's really nice. It's actually in Italian, so be prepared to read some subtitles, and then please join us for refreshments after, where we'll mingle, we'll chat, and we'll talk about, you know, female empowerment, solidarity, all the good things that we should be talking about. Thank you so much, thank you.
Ah, come ti chiami?
Pietro, Fulvio, Domenico,
Quanti anni hai?
11, 9 e mezzo, 7, 8,
Che vuoi fare da grande?
il pompiere, il calciatore, il pasticcere, il poliziotto, il pizzaiolo.
Perché?
Perché voglio costruire la casa dei miei sogni. Perché mi piace guardare. Salvo le persone, che non piace a me.
E lei è Martina. Che ti piace di lei?
Gli occhi mi piacciono, le sue scarpe, le sue mani, i suoi occhi, i suoi capelli. Sincerità sono le capelli. Tutto. Sarebbe una bambina, ci danzerei.
E ora falle una carezza. Falle una boccaccia. E ora dalle uno schiaffo. Uno schiaffo forte. Uno schiaffo. Dai. No.
No. No. Ce la do. No. No.
No? E perché no?
Perché? Lei è femmina. Non ce la posso mai dare. Perché le femmine non si picchiano. Perché così si fa male. E perché Gesù non vuole far picchiare. Prima cosa è bellina e non glielo posso dare. Perché è una ragazza. Perché sono contraria alla violenza. Dice anche le donne non si devono toccare nemmeno con un fiore. E perché è brutto. Oppure con un mazzo di fiori. E perché? Sono. La posso dare sulla bocca o sulla guancia?
We have a board there, and it's what does it say?
Abolish 153.
Abolish 153 is to write your comments about
What you want to do to commit to promoting women's empowerment in Kuwait. Please sign the board.